Hello and welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. Here on the channel there are several companies that I will almost always jump at the chance to work with. One such company is Archon Studio. They offer some of the best tabletop terrain for wargames and role-playing games through their Dungeons and Lasers range, which now also features pre-painted terrain using their own Prismacast technology. With an extensive Dungeons and Lasers collection, you can build dungeons, manor houses, towns, sewers, caves, woodlands, valleys, swamps, ruins, and now, thanks to their latest crowdfunding campaign, you can recreate the hustle and bustle of a busy port town. So when Archon Studio asked if I would like to check out some pre-production samples from that new campaign, how could I refuse? Dungeons and Lasers VII Porthaven set sail on the 1st of April 2025, and its flagship product is a gigantic playable sailing ship. It is an epic centrepiece for a waterlogged adventure, measuring approximately 28 inches in length by 22 inches in height. Accompanying this ship are 4 sets of 32mm scale props and characters that will breathe life into different parts of your port town. Obviously, there is a box for the ship's crew, a diverse collection of ne'er-do-wells with plenty of plunder to stash in the ship's hold. There is a port set filled with the shady sorts you might see down on the docks. There is a bazaar complete with market stalls and wagons where traders make a crust and street urchins just try to steal one. And finally, what port town would be complete without a tavern, full of baldy revelers and adventurers looking for their next big score? Much of the focus of this campaign is on these 4 core sets, which represent an easy way to create and populate an environment. But it's that massive ship that is going to catch a lot of people's attention in the first instance, and I'm sure many of you would like to see a little more of it. Well, that's lucky, isn't it? Yes, I have here a pre-production sample of the complete sailing ship kit. 15 unique frames, 20 frames in total, containing all of the necessary components to construct a fully playable ship with 3 levels, 3 masts, and customizable accessories such as cannons, anchors, and porthole covers. I cannot underestimate the scale of this kit. This is by no means a quick build, and while it's not exactly difficult to put together, it's not a beginner kit either. It does require time and patience. You will need to set aside a day, and be prepared to brace components with elastic bands and wait for them to completely dry before moving on to the next stage of the build. As you can see, the frames I received are cast in a standard brown colour, but during the campaign the ship will also be available in a ghostly translucent plastic for when Dread Pirate LeChuck needs to set sail, and in pre-painted plastic using Archon Studio's Prismacast technology. Additionally, I understand the final kit will even include fabric sails, although sadly I don't have examples of those to show you today. And I must stress, what you are seeing here is only a sample. The build instructions I worked from were already very good, but were not in their final form, and the frames you are looking at now, while being a fair reflection of what backers will eventually receive, are still going through the final stages of refinement. The quality is evident though. The detail is excellent, the components are sturdy, and for the most part it all went together fairly well. Although I do recommend dry fitting the components before adding glue to make sure you know how everything is supposed to go together. In order to complete the assembly, I first washed all of the frames and dried them thoroughly. I used my trusty side cutters to remove the components from their frames, and a craft knife and mould line remover to get rid of any obvious seams and nubs. I then used a combination of plastic glue and super glue to put everything together. And seriously, this kit used so much glue, I thought I was going to run out. But was it worth all the effort? Is the final result the show-stopping centrepiece your seafaring adventures deserve? This is a little sailboat, a sturdy vessel no doubt, but a big adventure on the high seas requires something bigger. Just look at this. I was expecting it to be impressive, but this is something else. I don't have anything quite like it. And yes, I know it's not painted. Painting it in itself is going to be quite a project, and I simply couldn't get it done in time for this video. I'm probably going to tackle it in a very simple manner though. Black primer, brown dry brushing, washed recesses, dry brushed highlights, and then detailing with bronze and bone for metal and rigging. But even without the paint, it is incredibly cool, and the brown plastic means it's not going to look out of place on your table if you want to start using it straight away. My mind is already racing with ideas for ways to use it. It's going to be ideal for role-playing games or narrative scenarios in tabletop games such as Frostgrave or Rangers of Shadowdeep. My goblin pirates from Moonstone are already eyeing it up greedily and plotting mischief. Of course, such a glorious vessel requires the very best crew, and thankfully Archon Studio also sent me a sample of 3 miniatures from the ship's crew set, which will be available during the campaign. So I introduce to you Captain Stormbeard Van Cleur, his first mate Beppo, and his second mate Anne Morgan. This trio of troublemakers are here to give you the guided tour around their ship's extensive features. Starting at the top, we have 5 crow's nests. Each one of these is large enough to hold a miniature on a 25mm base, so Beppo can't fit, but he's probably more at home swinging in the rigging anyway. Incidentally, all 3 of these masts are push fit, so you can take them down to more easily store your ship between swashbuckling adventures. At the front of the ship, we have the forward deck, the best seat in the house for when your crew are bringing you the horizon. You can squeeze in about 8 miniatures on 25mm bases on this deck, should you need to. At the rear of the ship is the steering deck. Lots more space back here, and there is a removable hatch leading to the captain's quarters. Moving down the beautifully ornate stairs, we reach the main deck, where we have 4 small cannons ready to fend off rival vessels. These aren't attached, so if you don't want cannons, you can leave them off. At the front, we have an opening that leads into a small cabin. You can get better access to that area by removing the forward deck, which simply pops off. It looks a bit cramped in there, but Stormbeard has more luxurious accommodation beneath the steering deck at the back. Functioning doors swing wide to grant access. Sorry Beppe, you're going to have to stoop. But of course, you can completely remove the steering deck. Here you will find enough room for a desk and a bed, and there is another removable hatch that leads down to the hold. However, main access to the lower deck is via the large hatch in the centre of the main deck. Remove that to reveal a handy set of stairs that go down. And of course, you can completely remove the main deck for a good look at what lies beneath. And down here we have another 8 cannons, which again can be removed if you so wish. You also get removable anchors that hang from hooks on either side of the forward deck, and the set also comes with optional hatches. These don't clip in, but you may be able to figure out something with magnets if you don't fancy gluing them in place. And there we have it, one fully playable sailing ship. It overshadows the docks of Porthaven, whispering of adventure, of monsters in the deep, islands filled with buried treasure, and the mysteries of far-off lands. I don't see how anyone can fail to be inspired by the presence of this ship on their tabletop. After all, who hasn't dreamed of high adventures on the high seas? Dungeons & Lasers VII Porthaven goes live on Gamefound on the 1st of April 2025. You will find a link to the campaign preview in the video description below, so you can check out the latest news on pledge levels and pricing. If you follow the campaign before it launches and subsequently make a pledge, you will be entitled to a free gift, the uniquely adorable Macaw Griffin. Additionally, backers from previous campaigns will also be entitled to a free Chimera, and all backers making a pledge during the campaign will receive a free Aboleth. Considering there will also be plenty of stretch goals to unlock throughout the campaign, you can expect your port town to be bustling with life. I have no doubt this campaign is going to make a big splash, and if you are new to Dungeons & Lasers, this may be a great time to dive in. But that is it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really like this video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so, and hopefully I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.